My name's Mabel Jago, and I'm from New Brunswick. We had a store down there for 14 years, and I went to church, but I thought I knew the Lord, but I didn't. I always thought that you just had to be good. I didn't realize you could have a personal relationship with the Lord. This one night, I was really tired, so I thought I'll turn the TV on to keep myself awake. And when I did, it was 100 Huntley Street. And David Maines was on, and there was somebody testifying what the Lord had done for them. And he had said tomorrow morning there's such and such a person going to be on. So I thought, golly, that must be on in the daytime too. So I took the little TV down to the store, and when I had a chance I would start watching it. And this morning they were going to pray for migraine headaches, and I had had migraine headaches for ages and ages, and they were so bad that I would be sick to my stomach. So I thought, boy, I'm not going down until I hear this. Now I knew the Lord could heal, but I didn't expect him to ever heal me. So he prayed for the migraine headaches. I went down to the store, worked all day, came back up again, and I used to have a headache every other day. It was terrible. So for the next week, I didn't have a headache. But I realized when I was waking up, I was praising the Lord, I was singing, what friend we have in Jesus, all our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. And he was just so good to me. I really knew that he had healed those headaches because I was sure once a day I would get like a shock in my head.
Okay, so my name is Neil, and for the last 28 years approximately, I've been a full-time Christian that loves Jesus Christ, and at exactly the same time, I've been a daily abuser of alcohol and a chronic alcoholic. I didn't think the two could go hand in hand, but I found out that they can. A couple of times I went to the hospital. The drinking was so bad. Once in Charlottetown, and once I had to be rushed by ambulance to Halifax. About a year ago, after I'd lost my driver's license because of an alcohol-related offense, I checked myself into rehab, and there I finally came to the end of myself. One night around 2 o'clock in the morning, I dropped down on my knees, and my prayers before had always been kind of a conditional prayers. I'll do this if kind of thing. But this one time I hit the floor and I said, God, I'm asking you to either kill me or cure me, because this so-called life I'm living is just not worth it anymore. It's only existence, and I want out of it. And I'm willing to do it on whatever terms you dictate. It's perfectly okay with me, whatever you decide. And at the time, I really didn't care if I lived or died. That's the honest truth. And God heard that prayer. I think God really likes desperate prayers. And I found that within 2 months, my craving for alcohol had gone.
When I became pregnant with Mark in '71, the doctors said that I couldn't go through with that pregnancy because I would leave 6 children. At that time, my legs were going in ulcers and my legs were crooked, and the pain and the swelling was desperate. So they gave me 3 days to get used to having an abortion. So anyway, Sterling and I thought about it, and I asked him if he would believe with me for healing, and he didn't know anything much about healing then. We never had come into really knowing a lot of truth. I went back and said no, I wouldn't have an abortion. And they told me to realize what I was going to be doing. I would be in the hospital most of the time. And then my life would be in danger. So I said, I'll take my chances. And about 2 weeks later home, I was healed. I get up, like in the mornings when I get up, I always had to have bandages and everything had to go on me before I get up. And this morning I jumped up in a hurry and to get the kids ready for school, and I didn't realize until evening that I hadn't bandaged my legs. I had no pain, I had no swelling, and it was just wonderful.
I'm Alan Wood.
And I'm Courtney.
And this is Denver.
And Dawson.
My wife was on bed rest for about 2 weeks. Her feet hasn't touched the floor, and that's because we went over on March 19th to get an ultrasound to check on the babies that were inside of her. And they were doing fantastic, but when they went to check her cervix, it was non-existent. So the boys were actually falling out of her. And so that night they rushed her in, did an emergency surgery, and put her on bed rest and said, you can't touch the ground. So we made it to 24 weeks.
Had a big party.
Huge celebration, cake, had some pizza and just celebrated. And kind of thought, we were seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
Every day after that was just
a bonus.
A bonus.
And we only had 3 days after that. At 24 weeks and 3 days, on April 26th, they were born. Denver was born first. He was born 1 pound 10 ounces, and Dawson weighed 1 pound 6.5 ounces. From that point on, you just see the amazing thing that God did. From the point of Courtney going into the hospital and these boys not supposed to make it because they were basically falling out of her, to the point where they made it just to the point where they're supposed to make it, that they had a chance to survive, to them saying that they were going to die, and they didn't. They went through a lot of struggles. They both had heart surgeries when they weren't even 2 pounds. They had chest tubes because they had damaged lungs, and they had holes in their lungs, and they're getting pockets of air in their body. They had infections upon infections. They had numerous, probably at least a dozen each blood transfusions, just because their hemoglobin was so low, and they weren't doing that well. But all the way through, we put our trust in God, and He healed them, and it was the most amazing thing.
Who wants to go? Absolutely, from my point of view, God does absolutely heal. No question about it at all. If we are desperate enough, and if we're willing to come to Him on His terms, not ours, but His, then He definitely does heal and will make a difference.
He's a wonderful God. He is still healing, and I think we really have to be prepared to believe that He is going to heal, because we have to take it and really realize that He has healed us already, and we just have to believe it.
Well, He'll still heal as long as time lasts. It's in the Word. It's in the Word. And He's God. He's the Almighty. There's no question about it.
I'd never change what happened. I see people go through and they just go through their pregnancy, and they have a beautiful baby, healthy, and they're in the hospital 2 or 3 days and they're home. We lived in the hospital for 5.5 months, and we saw our children go through things that they should have never gone through, but I wouldn't change it because I saw God's hand at work. These guys are a miracle. They shouldn't be here. The doctors told us numerous times. We had meetings with them, and they were telling us that, asking if we should pull the plug on Dawson, and just saying that they're not doing well. They don't know how they're going to turn out. And I look at these boys and I see beautiful, healthy boys.